Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the Code Paints podcast. I'm Code, and actually to my left here is an awesome artist hailed from, was it Ormond?
Ormond Beach,
Ormond Beach,
Florida.
Florida. Very cool. Amy Shekhter, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. So this was totally spontaneous. I actually found out about you via Instagram maybe like a couple weeks ago or something like that. And
Okay.
I just like fell in love with your style and what you're doing. And I saw on your stories that you were in Huntington Beach, which for those of you, our office studio here is in Newport, and Huntington Beach is like 10 minutes down the road. So I just shot my shot. I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to interview you. And since you're so close, you're down here for a vacation, right?
Yep, vacation, just a little getaway.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, you guys, you're with your beautiful little family. You guys went down to San Diego.
Yep,
Yeah.
and now we're traveling up to Oxnard for a
Nice.
wedding. So
Have you been down to California before?
I have,
Yeah.
a couple of times. I love it here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like, are you getting any types of like really cool inspiration for stuff you want
I
to do?
am I feel like I get inspiration from just traveling in general, and I haven't really been to any art galleries or anything yet, but just experiences, I think.
Oh, totally. I just got back, so I'm getting married in October, and I just got back from my bachelor
Oh,
party.
congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I just got back from my bachelor party. We went to Austin, Texas.
Oh,
And
fun. I love it there too.
so it was my first time, and it was so cool because I had a lot of friends, people telling me like, "You love it. There's tons of art, music," and I'm like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot." And I like fell in love with it. There's murals everywhere. Um, I did see like an Alec Monopoly piece, and that was the only thing that like was really familiar to me.
Oh, here
Who
you-
like
I
I
know
knew,
him.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, I know that guy." Yeah, but it was cool. Like we rode scooters like all throughout the city, and it was cool just seeing different things, and I like just internalized a bunch and was like, oh, maybe okay. I like that technique. Maybe I'll like try and experiment with that. And so that's always cool things to see from like traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again so much for kind of carving out a little bit of time
Oh,
for me
no
since you're here.
problem. I feel like a lot of what I do is just all spontaneous. I feel like when opportunities come up, I try to take them and see where it goes. Sometimes, you regret it, and sometimes you're like, oh, I'm so glad I did that because it turns out to be, a great experience or,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh my gosh, totally. That's like one thing, like especially with me and my friends, I always say if they're to know anything about me in this life, it's like let's make some memories.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just take, because you never know when
Same
time's
here,
up and stuff
yeah.
like that. So and then same thing, like if I can leave behind anything within my work, it's like hopefully I leave behind some memories in the pieces, and then depending on who it's for, if it's a custom piece, I want to input things from like their memories. So like this piece behind us is for my boss, and I just thought I'd leave it up because it's awesome. And
Yeah, I love it.
it's he's very business driven and inspired. So like a lot of Wolf of Wall Street stuff, like that's his favorite
Oh,
movie.
okay.
So sell me this pen, and there's a bunch of other little things that are kind of like inside for him, and yeah. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love just like little bits of inside meaning for, the person that's receiving the piece. I do that a lot. Just like a few little hidden gems in there that only they know what they
Oh, yeah.
represent,
It's always cool to like have that when people can go back on a piece or just keep looking at it and know every time they come back they kind of see something new,
Right.
and it's just like it just makes it even better. And man, your stuff is just so killer.
Oh, thank you.
So for any of you out there that don't know, my day job, I do content creation. And so I'm on Instagram like all day long. I'm posting stuff, or I'm kind of getting influence from that on stuff that I'd like to post for my clients as well. Were you doing any Instagram ads at all at one point?
I think I've done one or two. But I really do sell a lot on Instagram, and just because, with the pandemic and everything, there haven't really been any gallery shows, and
Right.
I mean, it's hard to get your stuff seen. So, it's a lot of work just being on Instagram, messaging people, trying to like create new content. Or with me, it's more like visual stuff, trying to show what I'm making. And it's difficult because it's pretty hard to see all of the details, especially of my work. It's almost like combining 2D and 3D elements, so a picture doesn't really do it justice.
No, and you do a great job of actually putting together like your little reels and stuff like that,
Oh, thanks.
and like showing
I try.
like the detail. No, it's really cool. So for anybody that doesn't know, I'm putting all the links down below. I'm gonna put it right here in the description for your Instagram if you want to like shout
Thank
out people that are
you.
listening digitally. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Amy Shekhter. It's hard to spell.
That's good. That's why we're putting it down there. And then you have a website as well?
Yes, which is also just amyschechter.com.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put everything
Simple.
out there for you. And so I think it was like a reel or something I saw on my like Discover feed, and I was like, it was something with your Chanel and the gummy bears are what got me, like the resin
Okay.
stickouts.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you call those? Like resin stickouts, or what do you?
Like the castings. So
Yeah.
I do sculpture, but I also do a lot of 2D. But with my 2D, I will put the casting, like the resin pieces, on the painting and then do like a coat of resin over it. So it's actually a lot of layers and a long process.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because, guys, like, it's amazing. I'm going to throw up some video clips from her Instagram and stuff so you can see this, because it is insane. I saw it and I was like, what the hell? Like, how is she doing that? And because I was like, some of them, I was like, oh, those aren't real gummy bears because they're, like, huge.
Yeah.
So it had to be, like, a casting. And then I saw, it's so cool that you kind of put stuff out there for other people to kind of like see, like, oh, this is my process. Like, you don't really like hide it that much.
Yeah.
But
Well, so I originally was an art teacher, so I feel like I've just always been used to sharing process and technique, and I'll have people message me and be like, oh, what product do you use, or how did you do that? And I'm open to sharing information. I think it's just, what
That's
I'm
really
used
cool.
to. Because I feel like a lot of artists are very secretive about
Oh,
things.
yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Luckily, you know what? It's something that I've found that was interesting. I heard that a lot, like, especially like when I was younger, and now coming up, I feel like things are changing a little bit. Like, at least a lot of people that I've thankfully run into, everyone's been like super nice and welcoming. And
Yeah.
because I think that's the only one of the ways that you're going to be able to grow is like learning from each other. Because even if you were to tell me like what you did, I would never replicate it in the same way, because I have a different thought process.
Right. And even just your process of making something, just because I tell you what kind of resin I use doesn't mean, or how I make a mold. I mean, people are going to take that information and use it in their own style, in their own artistic way. So,
Yeah.
I don't have any problem sharing
That's rad.
whatever with people.
How long did you teach for?
7 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where'd
middle school.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So, I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask you, so hopefully we can get through some of them. Okay, so have you ever thought about doing any like art coaching or putting together like a program or anything for people out there?
Not really. I kind of went from teaching right on to like, okay, what do I want to do next? Because I was so used to working, and I was like, you know what? I just want to focus on making my own art now. So, I haven't even really been selling my own stuff for maybe 2.5 years. I've been making things my whole life, but I just, I've always been scared. Art is so personal, and, I was afraid of what people would think of it or whatever, and I just decided one day, you know what, I need to just give it a shot and put it out there and see what happens, and I've gotten a really great response, so.
And you just said something about art being so personal, obviously, like all art is, of course, but you were kind of saying like you didn't know what people were gonna like think about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think a lot of us, especially younger artists, struggle with that. And you create, and I've run into like, oh man, should I post this? I don't know, but it's like, just put it out there. You never know. Like, there's so many different people out there that not everyone's gonna like what you put out the first time, but maybe like the second or third or whatever. It's it's all about growth and stuff like that.
And I think that's what makes it so rewarding too, is when you make something for someone and they love it, it's like, oh my gosh, like they love what I created for them. It's the best feeling. I feel like it's the best part of being an artist, is just like bringing joy or making a piece that's going to stay in someone's home, and just giving them some sort of emotion.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like especially around Christmas time, like I'm sure, do you get like super busy like leading up to the holidays?
I do, with mostly like commission things or smaller pieces. People want unique gifts for friends and family, and so it is a pretty busy time.
So something that I've run into that I want to use this show also when I bring on other artists, I'd like to give like little tidbits and stuff out there. So one problem that I ran into was not knowing when to say no.
Oh yeah.
And I would overload myself, and there were a few pieces that slipped out and didn't get in time for the holidays, but I got pretty much all of them. So like, so lately, one of the bigger tips was learn when to say no when you're just so full you can't do it anymore. And plus you want to take your time on each piece, and you don't want to rush anything. Is there anything out there that you've done that could be helpful for someone that might be encountering that same like issue?
I mean, I feel like I have that issue as well. I don't like, I don't like disappointing anyone or telling them no. I think you just kind of have to weigh the pros and cons. Some people message with like unrealistic expectations. Oh, I need this by this week. And it's like, do you really want to kill yourself making it, or do you want to enjoy the process? So, I try to work with people, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I've been steadily busy for a long time, and I'm actually doing Art Basel in Miami.
No
so
way.
I'm like so excited about that.
Oh my gosh, that was something I was going to ask you about. That's so cool.
And then just coming on vacation, I really had to get a lot of stuff done before I left, and I need to really just take the next couple months and like focus on creating some new stuff for the show, because it's a really big opportunity. But then I'll get people message me like, oh, I want a commission, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do it, like even though I know I shouldn't be doing it, but I try to find a way to make it work with time management, and I feel like I've been pretty good at it.
Yeah, and I think what you said, sums it up perfectly, is realistic expectations. And, make just, if you could put that forward with your client, and then it's almost like if you can get it done sooner, that's great.
Right.
It's like a under promise over deliver type thing.
Exactly. Like if I think I can get something done in 2 weeks, I'll usually tell them 3, just, to be safe, because you don't want to tell them 2 and then it's past that time and they're like wondering what's going on, especially with Instagram. I feel like, that's where I sell most of my stuff, and it's kind of I don't want to say a scary platform to be selling on, but, when you're selling paintings at, a high price, people have never even seen your work in person, and they're spending, so much money and trusting you to ship them something. It is a little scary to, be like, oh, well, I'm still working on it. And they're wondering what's going on. Am I going to, get my money back, or am I going to get a painting, or is this a scam or whatever,
Oh, totally. That's like one of the other things too that I ran into was, speaking of just like expectations, going back on that, something that I remembered was, there's a lot of backlog, like just stuff that I shoot and I document all the time. So I have all this old paintings or pictures and videos that I want to throw up on Instagram. But when I have, I've had this happen in the past, hasn't happened lately, but I'm posting other things and I have the client like, hey, have you gotten to my painting yet? But I like I
Oh,
try
yeah.
not to post anything of theirs, so I don't want
Exactly.
them to see it. And so I'm like, oh, don't worry, that was from like last year. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So it's like, that's
Yeah.
kind of funny is Instagram and the perception of things. And
Exactly. I
yeah.
feel the same. Yep.
Oh man. So Art Basel, that's so cool, man. So like, are you working with a gallery for that? I have no idea how that works, but for any of you guys that don't know, Art Basel is like a huge art, not even a festival, it's just an event that happens like for a week, 2 weeks in Florida.
Yeah, it's a week in Miami.
Yeah.
It's just a huge contemporary art show. I mean, it's amazing.
That's so cool. I have a buddy that lives out there in Miami, and he always tells me, he's like, dude, you gotta come out and check it out
Yeah.
and stuff. Have you, like, I don't know how close you are to Miami and stuff. Have you been before?
So yeah, I'm about 4 hours from Miami, and I've been, I think, to about 4 shows.
Nice. So you kind of know what to expect a little
Yep,
bit.
yeah. So I am going through a gallery. The lady that owns the gallery, she's actually out of New York. I met her there 1 year, and then we've just kept in contact through like Instagram or whatever.
Very
I
cool.
have so many like people I meet through Instagram.
What's the gallery you're doing it with?
She's called Studio Jackie.
Oh, shout out to Studio Jackie.
Yeah, and we'll be at Spectrum. It's called. That's like where the one show is. But there's
Perfect.
tons of different shows, and
Cool.
yeah. So.
Well, hopefully we can cut together some clips for you guys to promote out there. So
Awesome.
that's amazing. So we were talking about, the time it normally takes and stuff like that. How long does a piece for you typically take? I know everything's kind of different, with each piece, but
Yeah. So it really depends what it is. I feel like with the sculpture stuff, it takes me longer because I'm basically a self-taught artist. I have my master's degree in art education, but I didn't learn fine art. So I didn't learn the techniques. I basically was just learning how to teach, students about the importance of art. So with the 3D stuff, it's challenging just because I'm kind of teaching myself, and I do the sculptures I basically am making the mold from like a silicone product. I use
Sure.
Smooth On, and
oh, they're great. I've done
yeah,
like little.
their stuff is so.
Oh my gosh, I tried to do like little action figures before,
Okay.
and it's like a really cool product. Smooth On. If you guys
It
haven't
is.
tried this stuff or check it out, they have a big YouTube channel, so tons of like really great videos
There's
on there.
so many. They have so many videos. So that's how I learned how to do it, and it's a process. A
Yeah.
lot of times you pour the stuff and you take it out of the mold, and it's just like, oh, that didn't work, and then you have
Yeah.
to try it again, and then after you make the mold, I pour the resin, and sometimes that doesn't work out, and so it's just kind of a process. With the paintings, I have that down a little more just because I've been doing the same process for a while. So basically what I do is I'll find a digital image, something that inspires me. I do a lot of famous, like, iconic females.
Yeah.
Maybe something that sparks an interest or a memory from my past, or just I do a lot of things that just that I enjoy, that I like. And so I'll find an image and I will digitally repaint the image using brushes, kind of just like you would in real life, but they're on the
Sure.
computer. So similar to Photoshop, just so that I can then blow up the picture as big as I want it. Then I'll get it printed on canvas.
I was gonna say it's so clean when you get your images. I'm
Yeah, that's because they're
Wow,
repainted.
okay.
So, because you can't just take an image off the internet, and
Right.
especially if it's an older photo, it's not going to be high resolution. So yeah, I have to repaint them, which takes a while. I mean, depending on the image, it can take 2 hours up to 20 hours.
Sure.
Depending on like if it's a really detailed picture, if it's blurry and you're having to figure out where their eye is.
Yeah.
So then after I get it printed, that's when I start doing the different layers. I add, acrylic paint, spray paint. I do a lot of like glitter type stuff. I like really blingy. And then I will start also making the small castings, the resin castings, pieces, and so that's kind of at the same time.
Yeah, because you have a lot of really cool, intricate ones. Like I saw, like, oh my gosh, you made like a really cool like little M&M, or you
Yeah.
have like your candy bars and the ice cream. Like
Yeah,
it's
they
so
take a
neat.
while. Yeah.
I can imagine because you have a ton of different ones on there.
Mhm.
So it's like
Yeah, I do a lot of like candies and sweets just because I like the candy
it's
and
sick.
sweets.
It
And
looks super cool. So like, do you just have these molds just kind of like all over your like
yeah,
studio and
yeah,
stuff? That's
it's a
so
mess.
neat.
I'm like not an organized person, so
Oh my gosh, I'm working in a tiny apartment right now, and I've done my best to keep my fiance happy. Like, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Just
Oh,
like my processes. Like,
right.
here's a little hack for everybody because I use a lot of stencils too. So what I ended up doing was, they have the portfolios that you can get that kind of have the slips.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of
Mhm.
them are big enough to fit in there. So like, I'll just, log them that way after they're, dried up, of course. So,
Yeah.
and they're just
That's a good
nice and
idea.
easy.
Yeah.
And if you get enough of them, you can like label them like, oh, this one's like team logos or characters and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I think that's kind of
Yeah.
neat. But I did get a couple molds because I wanted to try out the process. So in case we were able to do this, I was able to like talk to you about
Oh
it and
yeah,
stuff.
sure.
So I found like this cool like Mickey one, and
Okay.
I just did it clear because I didn't want to try anything else out because I had resined another piece and I had a little bit left over.
Mhm.
So I just made it clear, and art resin has been like my favorite resin. I don't know if you use a particular one
I
or
do use
like.
that one for the top coat, yeah,
Right.
and some of my castings too.
Okay.
Which I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be a casting resin, but it works. So
Or for casting, is it almost like well, sorry, is it clay too that you use, or is it a
Um,
casting like resin?
so I use clay. I've used clay and also cement
Oh,
in some
nice.
of my sculptures. So I kind of use a lot of materials.
Hey, it's mixed media for a reason.
Yeah, but a lot of the ones that I do on the canvases are just the resin pieces.
Cool. For example, like I did see, like, let's take one of your like ice cream like pieces that are on the canvas. So it has like some really cool glitter and stuff, and you have like a Chanel logo in there. So if you
Okay.
don't mind me asking, do you put a casting inside of a casting, like, or how
Yes.
does that? Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah.
cool. And that's just, God, man, that's got to take so much time.
Yeah, so like if there's pieces inside like a lollipop or whatever, a lot of the times they're like the Chanel ones, so I make those first and then you have to put them inside and then pour more resin. So I'll do like a clear so you can actually see what's inside and then maybe a color in the background. Yeah, so it's several steps.
And that's
It's a long
why
process.
pieces cost what they cost. A lot of it is like experimentation or things that you've, taken like years to like learn and perfect. Something that was interesting that I ran into was someone asked me like, "Oh, well, your paintings just take X amount of time now." Yeah, but that's only because I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years now, so it's like I have the repetition down a little bit, but that's you're paying for the expertise or your all that knowledge that
Exactly.
you've acquired.
Yep.
So hopefully anybody that's out there that's listening that wants to know why our art costs what it costs, there's a lot that goes into it. You print it on, do you have like a giant printer at home?
No, I'll just use like a local print shop or
Okay.
whatever, which
Yeah.
also takes like some trial and error, trying different places
Oh,
just
sure.
to see. I'm very particular about colors. I like them to be like bright and look like they do on the
Sure, on the computer.
computer. So
Are you using like Photoshop, Illustrator, Procreate, or what do you use?
I'll use Photoshop, I'll use Procreate, just a couple different things. The only thing I don't like about Procreate is you can only do a certain amount of layers.
I agree.
So then Photoshop lets you do as many as you want, and
Yeah, so for if any again, I'll always drop like tidbits for any like newbies out there and stuff. But if you're using Procreate, it's great to do like line work, and that's actually how I formulate like my pieces. Is like, it's super quick because I can take it with me on my lunch breaks and stuff, and I'll try and knock out line work for a piece here and there, and you can use it for just about anything. But Photoshop and Illustrator are like
They're always the best. I
oh
feel
my
like,
gosh.
yeah.
And Adobe Suite out there, if you want to do like, I think it's like $50 a month or something like that, and you get all the programs and what is it? Premiere is what I use to edit together like all the footage and stuff. So it's like, it's totally worth it.
There's a ton of good ones out there, though. Really.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they all have different, benefits, I think.
Well, I was even going to tell you, like, even for content, because we were talking about that a little bit, Video Leap is something that I use, like, on my phone.
Okay.
And it's an awesome, just app for anybody creating anything on social media in general. Not sponsored, by the way, or anything like that, but if they want to, that would be great. But yeah, I'll show it to you after the show and like kind of show you little things, because I think there's some really cool elements on there that you could use for your posts and stuff like that. Because yeah, you're doing great. Like, okay, taking it to the content side, because you're doing a good job. Like, how often do you try and like post or anything like that?
I'll try to post like at least 3 or 4 times a week. Just to kind of keep everyone interested. And also, I feel like if you don't post a lot, people stop seeing your stuff. I'm not really sure how the Instagram algorithm works, but I've noticed like
that dirty algorithm, man.
Yeah.
That's something like we try and figure out all the time. Luckily, I actually downloaded, we got this app called Later, and it allows us, because I'm here like 40 hours a week, so I'm able to churn out a lot of stuff for Scott, and our goal is to post at least like 3 times a day. But but I'm always around him like filming and doing stuff. Like, that's what I do. But Later allows me to pre-program when we post and stuff like that. And I think one of the things with the algorithm is time consistency. Because I've noticed, like, if every day it's like we do like 10, 3, and 6, I think what works for us. So if we can do that, then I've noticed there's been a lot more pickup, because it's like recognizing that you're being consistent.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of it. Same thing with art, is trial and error, man.
Right.
And
but then they change it up on you.
They do. They do that with YouTube like all the time, and it's like we're trying to get ahead, and it's like, no, I hate it.
Did you make this little guy too?
I did. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, so we're talking real quick, and
sorry, we're recording.
Oh no, it's okay. That's actually a fun question. So yeah, I actually got one of these blank pops from like Target.
Oh, okay.
And it's
I've seen them.
Yeah, it's a cute little bobblehead, and so I just was like, you know what, I want to try and do something
some
different.
Spray paint on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I did like, it's got the little,
That's cool.
and or rebel and stuff like that. Yeah, so I wanted to like kind of peep through your Instagram here, and I'll put it up on the screen so everybody can see. But like right here, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just have so many like templates and stuff like that. That's crazy.
I'll try to do resin usually like once a day, just to make a bunch of pieces so I have some in stock, so I can kind of like, I don't ever really know what I'm doing until I'm doing it.
Sure.
And then, maybe I'll lay some out. Oh, I don't want to use those colors. Put some different ones on. And
so I was going to say, like, so you have like a resin like rotation, because for anybody that doesn't know, resin takes like 24 hours, 48 hours to cure sometimes. And so for you, is it like, okay, I'm out of Louis Vuitton LVs, I'll do like a little bit of those, maybe some of the ice cream bars? Like, how do you do your process for that?
Yeah, I just do a bunch of random things, but maybe I'll do the same color scheme at a certain time. I won't make like 50 LVs, just because I'd rather have a variety of things to choose from.
Yeah. Right.
So
you never know like what you're gonna need. Type of
yep.
thing.
And I'll just try to do like, okay, I'm gonna do blues tonight, so maybe I'll do like 5 or 6 different colors of blue.
Yeah. So for this one, I know we're gonna jump around a little bit, but like the Takashi Murakami piece was really cool, and how you got like all the little like beaded gems, everything.
Oh,
How, man,
it's time consuming.
I was gonna say, like, are you just sitting there with some pliers and just like,
So I have like a lot of them are crystals. So I have like a little crystal wand, I guess I call it, and it's basically like wax on the end.
yeah,
And so if you just push down on the crystal, it'll pick it up, and then you can play. Like I'll put the glue down, and then I just place them.
oh wow,
But it is time consuming.
oh man, I can imagine. Like, I've just been kind of experimenting with stuff like that, like in the past few months. Like, I just went to Michael's like one day and I just saw like it started with like the little gem
Oh
stickies,
yeah,
and so I
it's
was,
addicting.
oh my gosh, and then it just fueled a bunch more ideas, and I don't know like if that's like my phone saw me doing that, and so then it recommended you, and then I saw your stuff. It was like, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Because a lot of my stuff is like pop culture. I'm a 90s kid, and a lot of my stuff, like, I loved Power Rangers, Pokemon, 80s
Oh
cartoons,
yeah, I
stuff
love
like that.
mixing different time periods. It's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite things. 80s stuff with maybe someone from the 60s, and then I'll throw in something from today.
Yeah.
So I think that's fun.
It's kind of funny the way it worked out, because growing up, and my friends know this about me, is like I quote movies like all the time, and like that's just my thing. It's how my memory works. And I was talking to a friend about this the other day, where like my mom was always like, "Why couldn't you remember math like that?" I was like, but it's just funny because then it led into everything that I'm doing now, and I'm like, all those references are paying off, because
Right.
I can put like this one up here. It says no amount of money ever bought a second of time, and that was from the Endgame Avengers movie. Tony Stark said that.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like, but it totally feeds into him and Scott, my boss, and like everything that it's like encompasses him, because he's so busy. But it's like you have to remember to wind down, take a second, and don't forget, to spend that time with those people around you that you love. And
Yeah,
that
I
type of
love
thing.
that. Just like combining two things that don't really relate, but then it makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see. Let's get a couple more here. We can do deep dives on, and then we'll kind of close it out.
So we were just talking about materials real quick, and
Yeah.
that's another thing you really have to experiment with the resin, because when you cover things with resin, you don't ever know what's going to happen. Like if you're covering just regular paper, it's most of the time not going to work. You have to seal it first, or with the crystals that I use, you can't cover them with resin because the light hits them. So once they're covered, they just look like dull.
So you got to do it like on top after.
Yeah, so it's just like, or you don't resin the piece. I mean, like something like this, you could just put the crystals on that.
Yeah.
But it's a process, trial and error. Like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, so I actually found these. It's really cool. They were just like stickies from Michael's.
Oh, okay.
And so I was able to like cut them out and like put the little shapes on there. But I did do another like Richie Rich piece where I was able to resin over it, and it acted as like just more of a domey 3D shape, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So then, it just fuels that, and you get more ideas, and it's like,
Exactly.
what else can we do? What else? Like, so, okay, with that being said, like, what are some things that you're excited about coming up? I know you got the show, but like anything in your holster you want to say, like, that you want to try with your art, anything big that you want to do?
Well, I want to make some new sculptures for Art Basel. So I have my silicone. I'm ready to make some molds when I get back to town. And
You got
might
a
take
lot to do.
I know. So I want to make some bigger sculptures, because a lot of mine are, about this size, maybe smaller. I want to try to do something large, and I feel like, it's a lot more challenging the bigger you get.
Yeah. So, and then another thing really quick I want to do, talk with you about, because I know you have a family, and like, I know for a lot of us out there, they either have families trying to start them, or, maybe you have a significant other and spending time with them. How do you balance and do time management to, focus on your art career and really make things happen? Because I'm not sure if you're if this is like, is this what you're doing like full time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So to like provide and bring that money in for the family, but also spend time and making memories and stuff with them.
Yeah, it's hard to balance time. I mean, I personally work best like very late at night, so it's kind of good because,
Yeah.
I'll have the whole day with my kids, and my husband stays up late too, but he's not really, the resin fumes get to him, so he doesn't really like being near my
Same
studio.
thing with the spray paint fumes.
Okay.
Oh, trust
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm out there by myself. I come in, her and the dog are like, you stink. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, I feel like it's probably different with everyone, but it's just, I find it easier than having a regular job because you can kind of decide when you want to work,
Yeah.
even though it is time consuming. People think, oh, there's just an artist, you're just making some paintings and selling them. No, you're like marketing, trying to talk to people, trying to create content, you're experimenting, talking to clients. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. It's,
Yeah.
ordering materials, or you're out looking for stuff, trying to find inspiration. I mean, it's like ever consuming,
There's so much that goes into it that just people like they don't know about, but it's cool. That's like another reason why I wanted to do the show, and like for people to kind of get an insight to people's processes or things that can help them out and stuff like that. When I try to like look up and do some research on you, I didn't see any like other like interviews or anything. Have you done a lot of podcasts?
I haven't really. I really didn't start getting myself out there until just like I said, like maybe I don't even think it's been 3 years, and then COVID happened.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like so grateful though, because I have been so busy just from online.
That's amazing.
I feel like maybe because more people are staying home, they're wanting to make their homes beautiful because
Yeah.
they're there all the time. But
Yeah, well, I mean, like you're doing a great job, and oh my gosh, man, like you were saying, and something I always want to preach there too is like just don't be afraid to like put yourself out there. Like, during quarantine, I try to make a little goal for myself. Like it was 9.5 by like 11s, and just do a little painting every day.
yeah.
Even if I like couldn't really finish it, but like try to,
Mm-hmm.
because I'd work, home 8 hours a day, and then I had the rest of the day to kind of do whatever. And oh my gosh, like you were saying, like, if you're a night owl, like take advantage of that time, man. Because, oh, I remember the question that I was going to ask
okay.
you. So being motivated, and because I know working for yourself sometimes can get not monotonous because you're excited about what you're doing, but we're all human, and sometimes you can get like unmotivated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that happens to you, or if you do, how do you bring yourself out of the funk to where like I gotta create something today?
It happens, but I think that I'm the type of artist that I'm doing like probably 30 different things at once. So I'll like be unmotivated on one painting and I'll just set it aside, and maybe I'll come back a week from then, or maybe it'll
Yeah.
be a year, like, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I know what I should do with that. Or I'll think I'm finished with a piece, and then a few months from then I'll look at it and be like, oh, I should add this. So I try to keep creating, and if I'm not in the mood for painting, I'm using so many different materials that maybe I want to do, maybe I want to work with cement that day instead, or, maybe I want to do, some spray paint or graffiti, or just do some digital stuff. I try
Sure.
to, or if I'm just totally not in the mood for creating, then I'll try to focus on like, reaching out to clients or posting something, or
There's always something that could be
yeah,
done.
there is. And I've really, one goal for myself is I haven't really tried to get into many galleries or do many shows. So I think next year I want to apply, which is scary, because you're going to get rejected a bunch.
Oh
But
yeah.
just, try to apply for some different shows. And
Sure.
even if they're not just like my show, just to be in a group show or whatever, because I have done a few in Florida, but nothing really out of the state. So
Sure. That's another thing too, is like Instagram is so great, social media is so great to get yourself out there, and it's like a lot of us don't, galleries are great, and if you could do it without it, amazing, and if you can do it and work with an awesome gallery that is good to you, then amazing too. Like there's no wrong way to do it. It's kind of like whatever works for you. And yeah, so that's great that you're working with the gallery. What was it one more time?
Studio Jackie
Studio
for
Jackie.
Art Basel, yeah.
For Art Basel. That's so awesome, man. It's like, I don't know if I'll be able to go. When is the next Art Basel?
So it's I think it starts December 1st.
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's
oh
really
man,
soon actually.
Gotta get on. I can't talk. Gotta get on it when you get back home, man.
Yep.
Cool. Well, you know what? Thank you so much. I know you gotta get going. I know you got your vacation with your family and your trip, and I appreciate you spending the time here with me and going over with it and helping everybody else out there. And hopefully we can maybe even do like another Zoom interview like a year from now or something.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and I hope to
see where we both are.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of catch up
How
and
our
stuff.
work's changed, maybe.
Oh yeah, amazing! I can't wait. I'm gonna try. Hope you don't mind. I'm gonna try and do a few of my own like little resin castings here and there.
For sure.
I have a few ideas, of stuff. Might not be a gummy bear, but maybe it'll be like a. I don't know. I like punk and emo and stuff, so maybe I'll put some spikes in there or something.
Yeah.
I have no
I
idea.
use spikes.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, we got so much more to talk about, I'm sure. But hey, thank you again so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And
thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, you've been awesome. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for stopping by. All the links for everything. Oh, there we go. Spilling stuff already. Everything is in the links below. My name's Code.
Amy.
And thank you so much for stopping by. Stay weird, get creative. Wow, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you dug this one, make sure you check out these ones right here. They won't disappoint.